Hello there, kia ora. Do you remember during the election campaign when a right-wing candidate would be asked at an event about things like co-governance and their response would always be, well, I for one believe in one person, one vote, and their racist fans in the audience would go completely nuts about it? I mean, to be fair, it's what I saw while I was there. But that is a really interesting point. Not about the co-governance thing, about the one person, one vote thing. The co-governance thing, to be honest, frankly ridiculous, completely racist dog whistling, and even this week the government's turned around and told councils that they can still create CCOs, which would require managers put in place that aren't democratically elected, which was apparently what the MPs were arguing against in the election. Sorry, slightly distracted. What I'm talking about is the fact that in local body elections, it is possible for somebody to vote multiple times. You see, there's an element of local body elections called the residential ratepayer electoral roll, and essentially that's people who don't live in the area who can still vote in an area during an election campaign. And, well, it's been around for a while, but it means that it's entirely possible for some people to vote in more places than they live in. Let's take Christopher Luxon, for example. Now, he's been very open about the number of properties that he owns, and the majority of those are in Auckland. But he does own a residential property in Wellington, which under the current law means that he can vote in Auckland for the Auckland Council elections and in Wellington for the Wellington Council elections. Christopher Luxon can, if he wants, vote more than once in one election. Now, what's really interesting, though, here is that yesterday a members' bill was actually pulled from the biscuit tin. I can't believe we as a country pull laws and members' bills out of biscuit tins. Anyway, Ohariu MP Greg O'Connor, cousin of Damien for some weird reason, had a members' bill in place to remove the ratepayers from the electoral roll for local body elections. And during the election campaign, we heard a lot of MPs and candidates say that they were very dead set against the idea of people having more than one vote per election cycle, including Christopher Luxon, who said he was open to the idea of looking into this and changing things up. Well, here's an opportunity now for them to do that. And I'm sure that there are going to be people who could see both sides of the argument. If you own a property in an area that you can't be in, certainly you want to have a say in it. And there are a number of MPs as well as people across the country who own property in multiple areas who would like to have a say on things that are going to affect their rates bill. So this isn't going to be an easy walk in the park to get through. But it does mean that when you hear an MP turn around and say things like, well, they only believe in one person, one vote, that you can have them up about this, that you can question them about this specifically. You can find out whether or not they mean something like the residential ratepayers electoral roll, or if they mean something like vilifying Māori when it comes to co-governance.